And so, guys, take it from Joseph, someone that passed 2 evaluations, got a funded account, already got a few payouts. Now we got a new funded account. So everything he says here is perfectly executed as well, not just talking about it. Welcome everybody to another funded trader of Trader Pool. Today, Joseph is with me, new funded trader and the old funded trader as well. How are you doing, buddy? Thanks for coming.
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Cool, thanks. Okay, so we'll talk with Joseph today, obviously about his trading, but Joseph already got 3 payouts with us. He's funded on the largest account that we have, the biggest one, the Ultimate, the $260,000 buying power. And he also just passed the limited edition of the mini buying power, the $20,000. So we'll talk about the differences and his approach to the market. Joseph, maybe let's start with that. Now, what's the difference when you trade in the Ultimate, the 260,000, comparing to trading the 20,000?
I think that for someone who's new coming into trying out the prop firm, they should try to view the risk as if it were a real account. And the reason I'm saying that is because when you try to start at a risk level that you're comfortable with, let's say you're comfortable risking $50 on a real account. So coming into a prop firm, you should probably choose the challenge where you'll be able to take that risk appropriately while still hitting the profit target, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So for the 20,000 challenge, hitting the profit target might be a lot more realistic with a $50 risk if that's what you're comfortable with. But if you're trying to go for the 260,000 challenge, something more feasible might be a $200 or $300 risk per trade. And if you're not used to that, the P&L swings might cause your executions to deteriorate. So for me, I was used to trading, $200 or up to $300 R. So going backwards was fairly simple for me, and my execution didn't really have to suffer at all because I've already gone through that hurdle before.
That's a great advice. I mean, getting used to the P&L, seeing it, like you said, swinging, going up and down. If you're not used to that, it's kind of hard for you to handle the rest, and the psychology will affect your, the judgment of the execution on your trading. So yeah, 100%, that's great. And did you see any difference besides the dollar amount? Is there a difference in the way you approach the market when it comes to trading on a bigger account? Are you trading more like Tesla, Amazon, those kind of stocks, or what do you do differently or not?
So normally I stick with trading low float stocks. So penny stocks have high volume. On the day I try to day trade those. But I did try to look into possibly playing breakouts and breakdowns and the daily ranges of mid and large caps. That's still kind of a work in progress. So I did try it out, and there were some big winners, but there were also a lot of losers. But my bread and butter for me is the low float penny stocks, and you don't really need too much buying power for that. So I never had to kind of go max BP on any name.
Nice. What's so attractive, I guess, about those penny stocks?
So I tend to try to short sell because these are diluted companies usually. Their chart histories typically downtrending. So it's a lot easier to find the supply when it's going to come in. So if you see something's coming up like 40, 50, 100% on the day, you can pull up the daily and kind of look at the levels where you know that the supply or potential selling is supposed to come in, either through that or like the fundamental side of it, institutional ownership, or just the SEC filings that they have. There's a lot of edge. And once the tape kind of confirms that, you're able to scale in a larger and larger position.
That's great. I mean, obviously, you saw the previous videos. Many of our funded traders, all exactly like you, are short selling penny stocks. And I always ask them, I'm looking for that place where someone will tell me, you know what, I'm also buying penny stocks. I'm not just shorting them. I saw that you have a few trades like that. Are you trying to do that? Is it something that you feel comfortable with, looking for the long side? Because they are popping up before the capitulation, right?
So it's not a hidden secret that these stocks are bad typically, and that everyone's trying to short them. So the thing that I'm looking for, a few things are, the sentiment, the cycle can greatly influence stocks volatility. So I'm looking for everything is supply and demand in the market. It's just that with penny stocks, they're for the intraday, it's typically not going to be like chop. it's either going to fade or it's going to spike really hard
Yeah.
and then possibly fade later. But I try to look for the people who are bagged using just basic technical analysis and using all the factors in my favor. If I see that the short isn't working long enough and I see it's holding specific levels and that there's enough volume, the sentiment's there hasn't been any recent really big gainers, and it kind of looks like it has the potential for like a black swan or like a really big exhaustion that hasn't came about yet. I'll look for those trades. You know, longs don't usually work for me, but when they do work, they often pay a lot more than the shorts.
Got it. Yeah. I'm waiting for that funded trader that will do only long on the penny stocks, really.
It's tough to long. If you know how to and you get confident, the risk reward is extremely good.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and show your dashboard. For those of you not familiar with, every trader gets his own dashboard and he can track his stats and obviously see the progress of the evaluation. So first of all, what we're looking at right now is your funded account. That's the ultimate, the $260,000 buying power in profit. And like I said, you already took 3 payouts, so that's amazing. Looking at the stats, 38% of success rate, but 1-to-2 ratio. So that's impressive. Interesting to me, you always had those, below 50 success rate?
Yeah, typically.
Yeah, okay. And so you're more likely to go with higher risk reward than basically looking for that extra success rate increase, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, these are all your trades. From time to time we will see some buys, but basically short selling it all the way. How many did you do? Quite a bit. Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah. Okay, very nice. So, okay, this is, like I said, the funded account, and the limited account that you passed. You just passed the $20,000, reaching the profit target, which is 1,350. You had a nice consolidation, even almost reached the terminated level or the max loss, and then you pulled out. Tell me a little bit about that. The area right here when you reached that low of 700, a little bit more than $700, and then found yourself up again. What got you to that place, and how did you pull yourself out of it?
Yeah, so I think one of the things I was doing was, so I was playing the same stocks that I was on my funded here and there, but rather than adding to a position much later in the day on my funded, I would try to take like a position if it were to bounce later in the day. Because a lot of times if it's like a midday fader, like if the stock pushes up in the morning and then fades and then it bounces back into VWAP, that'll typically be a good place to add. So a lot of times, rather than adding, I'll just place on a new position on the challenge and place the about 2-to-1 risk reward on it. And then most times it'll work out. And then other times I would also try to utilize some of the things that I learned in the large cap space and try to play off that as well.
Nice. And I'm looking at the stats again. I'm seeing, compared to the funded account, you got almost 60% success rate and a low risk reward ratio. Is it something that you aimed for, like at the beginning, or just happened like that?
Well, so typically I would say B tier entries for any stocks would be later in the day looking for bounces to short into, because the A tier trades are typically you're shorting into the supply and then looking to scale into the position as it looks like it's working.
Yeah.
So by the time that's already worked and you're looking for a potential add into, let's say, VWAP or like a previous support level that's supposed to hold as resistance, for me, those are B tier entries because the risk to reward isn't as great. But the chances of it working, as you saw, is like relatively high.
Oh, okay. That's super important. So you're saying, you're taking that, you have lower success rate when you're taking that top, like buying the dip or selling the top. And then but you get higher risk reward. But when you're using the VWAP after the move already occurred, then you get in higher success rate, but lower ratio.
Yeah.
That's very important, guys, for those of you listening, and you can take a lot from that now. So amazing, Joseph. Before we finish, let's talk a little bit about Trader Pool because you've been with us for a while. Any tips and advices on how to pass the evaluation and what to do when you become a funded trader?
I mean, there's a lot. One would be to find your niche, which I think that you already should have before trying a challenge. Find your niche and stick with it. Try not to deviate too much. Know where your A+ entries are, where your B tier entries are. Know what to avoid. there's a lot behind risk management. Try not to gloss over it too much. I would highly advise implementing the R system, or knowing exactly how much you're risking per trade, and how you're going to scale that systematically over time. There's a few methods on how to do that. One of them that I learned is from a Twitter trader called Brian Lee. He implements a strategy called freezing. So as you're getting acclimated to higher and higher risk, he'll cap out the amount of risk that he has at a certain level, and then he'll try to get used to it as he builds the accounts up. There's a lot behind that, but his Twitter handle is Brian Lee Trades, if you want to look into that concept. So just risk management should be the main focus, as well as patience and letting winners run. It all sounds like I'm wrapping it up in a tight basket. Like I could go on for like an hour explaining all of that. But yeah, just treat the challenge and the funded account like a real account. I know one of the main benefits is that you're not going to lose money even if you blow the account or blow the challenge.
Yeah.
But I think if you have that kind of mentality, it's going to bite you in the end, because you tend to lose on risk management. If the money doesn't feel real, the risk doesn't feel real, a lot of times you won't place a stop loss, you'll move it, you'll place too big of position sizes. I've made that mistake plenty of times. And I think a good gauge to see if you're trading well is your equity curve. So I see a lot of equity curves that are like really choppy. You have huge downtrend, huge drops and huge spikes. That usually means there's something wrong with your position sizing or how long you're holding onto your losers. So, a healthy equity curve is a steady uptrend that progressively gets larger and larger as you increase your risk. So, I mean, not to get into all the nuances, but yeah, just risk management. Yeah.
But obviously, we can continue and talk about every topic here for days. And so, guys, take it from Joseph, someone that passed 2 evaluations, got a funded account, already got a few payouts. Now we got a new funded account. So everything he says here is perfectly executed as well, not just talking about it. Are you on Discord, Joseph? The guys can see you on Discord?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So at the short trader, trader as in TRAITOR.
Okay. Now it makes sense, because I see you on Discord, but I didn't know the name. Okay, cool. So for those of you who want to join us, go to tradeapool.com, check us out. And the Discord, once you sign up to the hub, you will have the icon of the Discord, and just click on it. Come join us to the community, very active one, and also our live YouTube channel as well. Alrighty, thanks so much, Joseph. Hopefully we'll see you next time. Maybe we'll do another interview after a few more payouts. And that's it. Best of luck.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.